Good morning and welcome everybody to Karen, get away. Good morning and welcome to our session this morning. My name's Alex Tregenza and I'm the Speaker Coordinator's Assistant. This session is being recorded, so if you don't want to appear on camera, please turn off your camera now. The recording of this session can be seen on Hoover for up to 6 months. Then it's going to be transferred onto the TESOL website and probably will go into the members only area. On behalf of TESOL, I'd like to welcome and introduce our presenter, John Harrop, whose session today is on using puppets in the infants and primary. I'll be your moderator today, so please use the chat box if you have any questions or problems. We also have a Q&A box, so you can post any questions in the Q&A box. If you have entered in Hoover and you are on full screen, you may have to reduce your screen size to see the chat boxes. John has agreed to share his presentation with you today, and you'll find any links in the at the end of the session. So John is from Liverpool. So not many years ago, John and I were near neighbours because I used to live in Preston. He works in Seville and does loads of work with really young learners. So that's infants and primary. And he does storytelling and puppet shows all around Spain. So I hope you've all brought a puppet or a sock. And if you haven't, quickly take your sock off now and get it on your hand. So without further ado, John, it's over to you.
Okay, thanks. Thanks. Hi, guys. It would be nice to be able to see you. So if people would put the cameras on, if they didn't mind being filmed, it'd be great, rather than looking at a blank screen. Okay, I'm just going to put myself on. And so I can see myself. Look at that. Great. Okay, so basically, I'm just going to do 3 things today. I'm going to show you some different types of puppets you can use with infants and primary. Then we're going to spend some time on puppet manipulation and also on puppet voice. I know a lot of teachers are worried about talking when they're using their puppets. And finally, with the remainder of the time, I'm going to give you some ideas on how to use the puppets. So most of the ideas I'm going to focus on is building up a backstory for your puppets. And once you've got the backstory for your puppets, there's loads of different things that you can do. Okay, I'm going to start with the simplest of puppets, and is this one. It's just with the googly eyes. Again, the reason why I love this so much, not only can it talk, but the eyes make it look, the student know who the puppet is looking at with the eyes. The eyes alone, they look a little bit boring. So again, often with my googly eyes, I decorate them. Okay. And you can do all sorts of fun stuff with them. So again, it's the same. In my class, I call them bichos. And one of the things I like doing with, especially with younger learners, is teaching imperatives. I get the class to shout out, stand, sit, jump, run, sit. And the bicho does the activity. Okay, and that's what we're going to say. Okay, so we go jump, hop. Okay. and sit. Okay, good. And the beach shows are the beach shows are great. It's so much fun. I have a class set of the googly eyes, so I've got enough for all the students. You can buy them in Tiger, but I got mine from China. I think it was on Etsy or something like that. I had to wait about 3 months for them to arrive, but they're really, really cheap. As I said, the eyes are the most important part of the puppet. There's another type of beach show here, and this is one there. And basically what you're trying to do with your puppet is make the puppet as human as possible. My infants, they can watch the beach shows for hours. Okay, the important thing is when the beach show or when your puppet is moving, is to focus the class's attention on the puppet. So you look at the puppet, okay, and then sit, and then the puppet, and then the focus is back to you, okay, and then the puppet is watching you, and then and sometimes I get the students say, like I said, do you want to feed the puppets? And the students put their hands up and the beach shows go, and he pretends to eat a bit of food out of their hand. Okay. When you're putting the puppet on and off, with every puppet I do, I turn my back to the students, take the puppet off. And then come forward with the puppet on, so the students don't see me putting the puppet on and off. It sort of breaks if I put the puppet on in front of them, it sort of breaks the magic. So it's just very quickly this, and then the puppet comes off. My favorite standby puppet, I'm going to do this one in real time. Okay, is. Oh, by the way, if you've got any questions as I'm going on, please leave them in the chat. I'll have the chat open and or use the hand up, putting your hand up thing on Zoom. Okay, so in the time I was talking, I've done my puppet. So this is, and again, it's the same technique. When I'm speaking, the puppet is looking at me, and then I go focus on the puppet, and the focus back to me all the time. And all the time, the puppet's sort of like, yes, as if it's showing interest in what you're saying. And it gives that sort of subconscious message to the students that what you're saying is in fact interesting, even if it's not. So back to the puppet. And this. Okay, so this is probably the most difficult part of the session, and working with the puppet is speaking to the puppet. Okay, the technique I'm going to explain to you isn't one that I've invented. This is the one that ventriloquists, can't even say the word, have used in time forever. Okay, so when you're speaking to the puppet, you look at the class. Okay, that's the thing to remember, and this is what feels weird. So this is Donnie. So, hi Donnie, how are you? Okay, so I'm going to step in and out of role. So when the puppet speaks, you look at the puppet. Okay, so when you speak to the puppet, you look at the class. when the puppet speaks, you look at the puppet and you direct your gaze at the puppet. And you know, it's like in class, if somebody comes to the door and knocks on the door and you look to see who it is, the whole class follow your gaze and they see who it is as well. So basically that's what you're doing. A lot of teachers are worried about speaking when they're using the puppet because the students go, they're supposed to say, I know it's you that's speaking, I know it's you can speak. So all of these things. So to avoid that is this. So let's do it in real time. So, hi Donnie, how are you? I'm fine. How are you, John? Yeah, I'm fine too. Okay, so how old are you, Donnie? I'm 7. How old are you? Oh, I'm 12. There it is. Okay, so Donnie, what's your favorite color? Yellow. What's yours? Oh, my favorite color is green. So again, it's this thing. If you're sort of if Donnie's talking, and if Donnie looks at me, then the students look at me and then they're focusing on my mouth. If it feels a bit strange, I think the best thing, it's a bit like when you're learning to drive. So when you start driving, it's like, okay, so you learn the steering, great, and then the gears, and then the brakes, and then the clutch, and as you're focusing on the gears, you forget the clutch, or you don't steer so well, or you're moving across the road. It's the same with this. So with a bit of practice, you can make it look really, really fluid. And again, and same with 2 puppets. Okay. The great thing about the hand puppets is they just make fantastic language assistants. So rather than using a student as an example to model the language, then you model, or the puppet models the language itself, himself, it's whatever gender or pronoun you want to use for the puppets. Okay, so again, so the puppets is always is watching me, so back there. Okay, I'm going to come back to that with the bigger puppets, and I'll give you a couple of minutes to practice as well with your socks and with your puppets. Okay. Again, this is my favorite. Oh, and the other thing is with my students, they love talking to the hands. I have sort of these type of, don't worry, they're not sponsoring me, but these are those sorts of sports crayons that you see, like when people are drawing flags on the faces, and these are non-toxic. Push, you can use your board pens, but don't use permanent markers, whatever you do, because they're a real pain in the ass to get off your hands. But these sports things are great, and they're non-toxic, they're really, really quick to do. And I can do a class of 30 in about less than 5 minutes. I just draw, as long as I've got something, eyes, 2 lines for the lips and eyes, and that's it. And the students, if they want, they can decorate the, poor Donnie's wig's falling off. And they can decorate them however they want. And then the students, again, the puppets are a bit like a mask. They hide behind the puppet and they speak. You could teach them something simple, just say, hi, how are you? Or what's your name? Or what's your favorite color? Something very, very simple. And then the students just go around asking each other with the mouth. So to make the mouth work is this. So it's close your hands and your thumb is out, and the thumb. So it's that action. Okay. La 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 la. Okay, that's enough singing now. La 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 la. Okay. No more. La, 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 la. Okay. Stop. Hours of fun talking to the hand. Okay, so that's probably for the infants. These are probably my favorite easy standby puppets. And yeah, I said for language assistance, it's great for modeling language. Okay. Get a bit more. I've got my sock and into my other sock, into my glove puppets. And again, is the same. The glove puppets is just open your mouth, just a bit of red cardboard, which everybody your face. And again, my infants love the sock puppets just because they're so soft and colorful, and they're just so fluffy and really, really cheap. Okay, so there. Okay, so there's the sock puppets as well. Great thing about them is that they can talk as well. And again, all the people who've got your socks, even with your socks and an eye, you've got a simple standby puppet. As long as you believe the puppet is real and talk to and treat the puppets as if it's real, the students will buy into your story. Second. I always treat my puppets as if they are real all the time. I never tell my students they're real, because if I do, I'm setting myself up for some type of confrontation, and some students will occasionally try to prove me wrong that the puppets aren't real. I just say they're friends. If they do ask me if they're real, I might say things like, well, I know it's a puppet. You know it's a puppet, but he doesn't know he's a puppet. Okay. So, and that confuses them, if nothing else. Right, next one. Okay. I'm just going to see if there's any questions so far.
You have one question that says, what's your favorite puppet and why? Can you suggest?
My favorite puppet's coming later. Okay.
Okay, so that's the only one you've got at the minute. So we'll save that one.
Okay. Right, what I like to work with a lot are puppet books. Are fantastic. I love them. My students can read the same stories week after week. So I'm just going to use my one is this guy. The sun's coming out, but come on, let's call Teddy. Teddy's still asleep. Everybody, Teddy.
Teddy.
Okay, well, you can still be on mute. So Teddy comes out, and come on, Teddy. So there it is. Okay, so again, the technique's the same. So when I start talking, Teddy's looking at me and focuses the class's attention on me, and then it's back to Teddy. And then it's sort of back to me when I'm explaining things. So Teddy's waiting. And again, as I'm talking, Teddy's using micro movements, and it just gives the impression that the puppet is alive. Sometimes I talk and I forget, and then I go, hey, profe, Teddy, está muerto. I go, tell Teddy, wake up. And then there's the opposite. If Teddy is a little bit hyper, it's like, Teddy. So if it's too frenetic, then it's good. Students aren't listening to what you're saying. They're just busy watching Teddy, because Teddy looks like he's had about 20 cups of coffee. Teddy. Okay, there. Okay. And the great thing about about these type of puppet books is there's a disconnect between you and the puppet. okay, which again makes it look as if it's alive. Because your hand's going into the back of the book, then the students can't see the puppets. All these puppet books that cost me a penny on Amazon. Amazon's full of secondhand books. Okay. So, and to work with the students and the puppets, it's all the time looking at how you can get some type of interaction. So let's start here. Okay, so it's playtime, Teddy. Let's get ready to play. Do you want to play with Teddy? Okay, so playtime, Teddy has got lots of friends, but he'd like to make some more. If you want to be friends with Teddy, then shake his little paw. Okay, so in this stage, I'm teaching the students the phrase, nice to meet you, or as my primary say, Machu Picchu. So, and then if I'm with a group, I sit down and the students, I'll maybe call them out individually and they'll shake Teddy's paw and just say, nice to meet you. Or I'll go round with the class and they'll shake his hand. So anyone want to shake Teddy's hands? I can even do it online too. You just put your hand out and shake Teddy's hand. And then you say, nice to meet you. Okay. Teddy's friends. Teddy likes to give his friends a clap. So clap. When he learns something new. What can you show Teddy so he will clap for you? Okay, so for the lower level, I might get the students to come out or ask them, go point to something yellow, and then they point and a clap, point to something blue. The student comes out, points to something blue, and Teddy claps. Or for a higher level, I'll say, what's this? And someone's got a Teddy, and then Teddy claps for them. And they like this. I think it's a power thing. It's because of Teddy saying, good job, good job. So they see the puppet as one of their peers and not somebody who's in a position of authority. Okay, see Teddy? Okay. Okay, so again, be really careful with how you use your puppet. Don't, if you do something like this, like, hey, so always treat your puppet gently. Again, because for me, these puppets are like class members and you're showing them respect. Okay, so let's put Teddy back. Oh, Boris. So again, the same type of thing with Boris versus. Just 1 second. Ah, yeah. So this is about a frenetic monster called Boris. And Boris gets so excited about lots of different things. So when Boris gets excited, we have to say to him in your best Scouse accent is, calm down, Boris. And we actually get all the class, they tell him off. Okay. So today, Boris is going to the park. Let's help him get ready. So again, so you're looking at ways to engage the students. So I've got my brush and let's comb his fur. So the student actually comes out and brushes his fur. Oh yes, very handsome. He's got some bichos. Then someone else will come out and they'll pick the fleece or the little bichos from Boris's hair. There. Very good. Okay, then. You getting ready to go out is hard work. Now he's scooting to the park and he's got lots of different foods here. Let's feed Boris. So we get some, so I get the students to sort of get some sausages and Boris will go yum, 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 yum. And then some cake, and then we get the banana. I'll get the students to imagine to peel a banana. And at one stage, Boris will go, kissy, 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 kissy. And then all the students will be, calm down, Boris. So this will go on. And every so often, Boris will get really excited and like, kissy, 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 and kiss the students and this, or one of the students, and the rest of the class will be, calm down, Boris. Most of the time, they're not that bothered about the students. There's just that tension of waiting for when Boris starts to kiss one of the students, and then they've got the opportunity to like, calm down, Boris. There's loads of stories. There's all of Boris's family. And again, these were all, I got this, well, now I've used it, it's quite old, but again, it was a penny secondhand on Amazon. Yeah, and again, for the young, even the younger students, I've got Nosy Norman, which is, again, quite a weird puppet, but my infants can watch Nosy Norman for ages. So again, it's okay. Nosy Norman has one long nose and it's twitching. So everybody, twitch your nose like Norman. I can't see you. But some great nose twitches. So again, it's thinking how, looking at the book and how you can get the students to interact with the puppets and with the books. What can he smell? Sniff, sniff, sniff. Normally there's, then the Norman goes round and he smells the people in the class. Two. Oh, stinky socks. Poo. Everybody hold your nose. Let's count them. 1, 2. Look. Roman's nose is twitching again. Let's switch your nose. Is there are 3 sausages. Rub your tummy. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3 sausages. And what noise do the sausages make in the pan? Yeah. Uh-oh, Norman's nose is twitching. Let's see what he can smell. Oh, this time is flowers. So 1, 2. Okay, so you get the idea. So it's looking at ways to involve the students as much as you can with the story. Okay, and again, just having the puppet Norman's twitchy nose just gives a like an element of theatre to the storytelling. Okay. Oh, the time goes so quickly. Okay, I'm going to move on now to my. You asked about my favorite puppet. Students always, or teachers or training teachers always ask me about what puppet to choose, and I always say the same thing, which is choose a puppet that you like, okay, rather than a puppet that you think your students are going to like. If you choose a puppet you really like, then you can play with it, you can connect with the puppet, you'll be happier to use it. Some other puppets that come with the books, I find sometimes their eyes are too small, or they don't speak, or the mouths don't work properly. I'm going to show you one that's got a really good mouth. So basically, these are some of the things your puppets should have. The basic good eye. So again, the students know who the puppet is looking at. Okay, so that's so there. Okay, again. Okay, and the mouth as well. Make sure the mouth works. This one's really good for speaking. It's a really good speaking puppet. When your puppet is speaking, this is the movement. It's your thumb, like your jaw. So it's your thumb should come. So as opposed to this is this. Maybe you can have a go with your sock. So it's that movement. So basically this part of your hand stays still, and it's that. That's I can see Andrew doing it well there. So it's that rather than this. So I'll show you with the. So if you count, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rather than 2. And this way we don't speak with our. So it's. And again, and normally my puppet is sort of up higher than the students and looking slightly down, so all the class can see him or her or it. Okay, so that's it just last time. So from the front is this movement, from the side it's that. It feels a bit weird at first as well, and sometimes your thumb will probably ache slightly. Okay, but that's it. Okay, yeah. The students make up their mind whether they like or dislike teachers, people, in a fraction of a second. And they do the same thing with puppets. If they don't like your puppet for whatever reason, then, or they take an instant dislike to it, then you're going to have an uphill battle. So one of the ways I introduce my puppet, or the puppet I'm going to show you now, is my sort of class mascot. It's the one I use for most of the year with the class. And this is probably my favorite way to introduce the puppet. So this is a bit battered. So I'll go into class and I'll bring in a letter. Go, oh, look, a letter. John and his class, and the address. And okay, this is a bit battered, this one, because it's a real one. Okay, this is a bit exagerado. What I actually do, I send this letter without a stamp to my mum in Liverpool. My mum puts a stamp on it and she sends it to the school, and it arrives in the school. So it's a genuine letter with a stamp and a postmark. Okay, and parece un poco exagerado, but this is a big part of the role play and of the game. So the letter comes, and I choose an envelope or something that's going to attract their attention, so the students know it's not a bill. It looks a bit colourful. It looks interesting. Nice. Oh. So I walk into class, I read it, and then I put the letter down and I start to teach. 9 times out of 10, someone will go, you know, la carta, la carta. I go, okay, we'll look at the letter. They go, no, dice, John y su clase. I go, yeah. But we look at the letter a bit later on. The more I insist to leave the letter, then the more that the students will insist I open it. I'll go, yeah, a bit later on. And always it's like, carta, 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 abrela, abrela, abre. So I go, yeah. So, and I love this. So I'm playing with, so in the end, I'm like, okay, I'll open the letter. So then, and it's, oh, it's like a letter. And then I'll say, oh, it's from my friend Charlie. So open it. And again, it's like, oh, look. And I read it and I go, oh, do you want to hear the letter? And because they've sort of gone, they're like, yeah. And I go, hi, John, how are you? This is Charlie. I'm coming to Seville to visit you and your class, and I'd like to stay for 6 months. I can't wait to see you. Lots of love, Charlie. Again, 9 times out of 10. Did you think? So then I'll translate it. Okay, I'll tell you what it is. It's my friend Charlie. He wants to come and visit the class and stay here for 6 months. Is that okay? And the student, and then is that okay? And I nod. It's sort of this guided nodding. And the students watch me and they nod back as well. So now I've got this verbal contract that my puppet is going to come and stay. And is going to stay with the class for 6 months. And the students have agreed. And then I look in the letter, go, oh, also in the letter. Oh, nice. There's a photo of Charlie. And then it's the same again. It's like, and then the students want to see the so it's the same all over again about the letter. The teachers who work in the other classrooms next to me, they hate me. My class is so loud. It's all the time of chanting, cheering, but it's sort of organized riotness. I don't know if that's a word. Anyway, so in the end, I get the Lego. Okay, I'll show you the picture of Charlie. And then I show them Charlie. And there he is.
So cute.
So then by then it's the same reaction. Some of the, okay, I don't use Charlie with the infantil porque tiene miedo. They're frightened of Charlie. Charlie's a bit too realistic. I use another monkey, Manu. I'll show you the other monkey in a minute. But Charlie, sometimes the infants get really frightened because he's a bit too realistic for them. Some of the students, they know it's a game, but they enter into it. Some of them go, es un mono de verdad, or es mentira, and I go, no, it's Charlie. And again, so I don't say he's real. I just say he's a friend. And if they really insist, I'll say, oh, yeah, it's a puppet. But they never do, because the students who know me already realize I'm setting up some sort of game, and it's probably going to be a lot of fun for them. So we get Charlie, so that's it. And then what I'll do, I'll hang the picture of Charlie up in a place in the classroom, very high up, where the students can't touch it. And I forget about it and I just carry on with the class. Again, I go into the class the next day without fail. Always, there's a group of students, they stand and they're looking at the photo and they're talking about Charlie. They're already talking about it and they go, John, I go, oh, señor, ¿cuándo viene? And then they're starting to ask me when the puppet's gonna come. Okay, so already they're there. And then sometimes they say, well, monkeys bite. And I go, yeah, but no, not Charlie. He's a really good puppet. So it depends on the class. Sometimes some classes are more into it than others. So if classes are really into it, they start to ask me questions. They'll say, has anybody got any more questions? So they'll ask me some questions, or I'll say, okay, I write them down. I said, Charlie, so this is the key thing. Charlie doesn't speak Spanish. So write down the questions. And then I write another letter to my mum. Charlie replies again, and Charlie's answered the question. So students, normally they ask me how old he is, does he have any family, has he got any brothers and sisters? It's things that are interesting for them. What does he eat? All of these things. So they reply, and I read out the questions. Students they've got no concept, especially younger learners, they've got no concept of time. I say it's coming in 2 weeks. For them, it could be 2 months, 2 years, or there's only 2 dates they ever remember. That is, if you ever ask them when's your mum's birthday, they're like, yeah, you could say, I don't know. They never know. They know the day before their birthday and their birthday, nothing else. Like, anyway, so eventually the big day comes, and I come in. My puppets all have somewhere to live. Okay, so I have a basket, normally a basket. The basket's great because in the basket, I keep not only the puppet, but elements of the lesson, things like flashcards or whatever. I'm just going to come back to that in a minute. So I come in, and then I go, oh, and I'll come in and go, oh, did you hear that? I think it's Charlie. And then again, it's the same, a bit like with Teddy. Go, okay, we've got to wake him up. Everybody, 1, 2, 3, Charlie, Charlie. So I love procedures in my class. So I teach them a little rhyme that, okay, if you want to see Charlie, this is what you say. So it's like, Charlie, Charlie, red, white, and blue. Charlie, Charlie, we want to see you. So before Charlie comes out, they say the little rhyme. Again, it can be anything depending on the age level, etc. of your class. But yeah, procedures are great. So in the end, it comes out, and I go, oh, did you see Charlie? You see, and it's like, oi, oi, come on, Charlie! Everybody shout, Charlie! And out it comes.
Charlie.
Did he see him? Did he see? Then and normally on the first day, that's it. Then Charlie goes away, and they'll go, oh. Because I leave it like this, because the next day, or the next lesson that Charlie comes out, they're going to be really looking forward to seeing Charlie. So I say to them, yeah, Charlie's very tired. He's just arrived from Liverpool, and he's shattered, so he needs to sleep. Okay, Charlie doesn't speak. Charlie's a squeaking puppet. I'm going to get Charlie out again so you can see him better. Okay, so again, I like him in the basket, because again, a bit like the puppet books, there's a bit of space between you and the puppet. And then if the class get too noisy or too rowdy, then he just goes back in the basket and away. Okay, I'm just going to talk about how you hold your puppet. Now, Charlie is the baby of the class, and what I try to foster is that the students look after Charlie. So Charlie's really rubbish at maths, so they're helping him with his numbers. So you sort of building up the backstory. And the way to hold the puppets, so you either sit on my arm, or he's here. Okay, and again, the same as with Teddy, it's micro movements. If you can see, his tail is moving, so all the time there's just tiny little movements, and it just sends the signals to the students that the puppet is alive. Okay, so that's his there. And again, it's the same thing again. So when I'm talking, sort of Charlie's looking at me. And then back to when Charlie is saying something. So even though Charlie can't speak, he can express how he feels. So now he can be really happy, really angry, or he can be shy or sad. What you can do is mirror the feeling you want your puppet to express. So if he's like a bit more. Okay, so, and the students will pick up on how the student is. Okay, so if you can see, if you see the puppet like that, sometimes I see teachers with the puppets like this, and there's just like, it loses the juego. It just doesn't work. So here, you can see the difference. Sometimes I've seen students, teachers, they forget, and they're like, you sit down, and they've just forgotten that the puppet is on there, or even, and they make, sometimes they're scratching, so just scratching the. So again, try to keep the puppet keep it real. Okay, so it's that. Just with puppet position, I'm just going where it just reminds me. Oh, what's my? Oh, okay. I'm just going to come back to Charlie. I'm just going to spend just a minute on the same with the finger puppets. We sometimes I see teachers, they're using finger puppets like this. Again, they're just floating. This is another really nice way to hold your finger puppets is if you hold them. So instead is like this. Okay, so as you can see, the mouse is a lot more realistic. See, even though he's moving around. Okay, so it's this position. Like that, and then your hand comes over, and then it whoop. Which I like. A lot more than this. So play around with your puppets after standing in front of the mirror and see how you can sort of have that effect where you're sort of cut off between the puppets. Again, it's just, oh, it's gone back to front. There he is. The mouse I love. Okay.
John, you've got about 10 minutes and you have got some questions.
Okay, I'll just have a look at a couple of questions before we finish.
Do you want me to read them out?
Yeah.
Okay, Emma says, my problem is I get nervous and muddled trying to talk to the puppet in my voice, and the puppet talks to me or the students in a different voice. How do you manage the different voices?
So my camera's gone to automatic focus. Is practice. Sorry guys, don't know what's happened. Yeah, I don't change your voice that much. For like a male puppet, I go a little bit deeper, and for a female, I go a little bit higher. If I go too much, then you're going to give yourself a voice strain. And apart from that, no, it's just practice. It's looking at the puppet, looking at you. It is a lot of time doing this. Okay, what was the next?
Brilliant. Next question. This is a good one. I was thinking about this as well. How has using and interacting with puppets changed since COVID?
I'm just doing my puppets now. The classes are online. But puppets work really great online as well because they can be out of shot and then they can just come into shot. So it's a lot easier. So again, you've got they really look as if they're alive. Just going to get one of the. So the students aren't playing with the puppets. In the past, I'd let them play with them. but not now. They don't touch them. But then you've got this type of interaction, so which is a lot better. So it really looks like there's somebody with you. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go through the questions quickly because I just want to spend the last 5 minutes talking about the backstory.
Sure.
What was the next question?
Do you use a puppet book just to work on specific vocab or structures, or is it like a class puppet that you use more frequently?
No, so I use
from Elena.
Yes, I use Charlie. I use the puppets as the class mascot, and they're with me all the way through the year, and the books for just different things. So, for example, for I've forgotten his name. For Calm Down Boris, things like hobbies, healthy eating. There's lots of things you can exploit from the books. So yeah, these are just standalone, but I use the same book a few times over the year because the students enjoy the stories so much.
As you would a normal storybook.
Yeah.
And Christina asks, can you recommend a methodology book for using puppets? Like a teacher training manual?
There's one that I've seen that's called Bear, and I can't think of the author's name. It's OUP book. She's got an Irish name, something Bear. I don't know. I'll put it in the chat, or I'll add it. I'll come back and I'll add it later on.
Perfect. That's perfect. And the last one, and the last question is from Maria. When the puppet doesn't speak, how do you bring language into it?
Okay, so this is, I was on to the squeaky puppet. So the student asks Charlie a question, and Charlie goes, yeah, he said red. And then students go, Charlie, how old are you? Okay, 7. And then I translate for the pub. The students by it, it sounds really, when I explain it, it sounds really mad. But the students, they know that Charlie's squeaking and I don't understand and he's not real. It's just a big game they buy into. So very often they'll say to me, they'll come and go, John, ¿cómo se dices blah, 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 blah. ¿Cómo se dices cuántos años tiene in English? And I go, how old are you? So they go, Charlie, how old are you? And you know, and they go, ¿qué dice? I go, 4. So I don't know. For them, it's a game. So that's it. The squeaky puppet just squeaks and he replies. The key thing always is to use your puppet doesn't respond if you're spoken to in Spanish or another language. The puppet only responds in English. So that's the key thing. So if they ask him something in Spanish, Charlie or Manu, this is the other puppet, pays no attention. This is the other puppet I use for the infants because he's sweeter. So the infants I use Manu. Okay. The older ones is Charlie. But sometimes I use them together. They're a bit clownesco. So he's the naughty puppet. So he's the listillo. So basically he's the clever one. So we have 3 characters in the class. So he's clever and a bit sly. Yo soy el tonto. I'm the stupid one who does everything the monkey tells me. And Charlie is the baby. So we have different personajes in the class. Okay. To make your puppet work, I've got okay, last few minutes, I'm just going to talk a little bit about activities you can do with them. You can use your puppets for so many different things. If you see it as if it's like a tool, and then you have to choose the best tool for the job, and the puppets are like that. And the way to do it is to build up your puppet backstory. And the bigger the backstory is, the more things you can use your puppets for. Like I said, I don't use them I use them quite often, but I don't use them for a lot of time in class. So the students, they'll get bored of looking at them. Sometimes when I'm not using the puppets, Charlie might come out of his basket and sit somewhere as if he's a class member. Okay, so this is Charlie. So just give you an idea, so I might come into class, and then it's like, Charlie, red, white, and blue, Charlie wants to see you, come out, and go, oh, let's see what's in Charlie's basket. So we come out, and there's like, there, and normally sunglasses, which I can't find, my tables. So what's today's theme? What do you think it is? Okay, yeah, that's it, is holidays. And Charlie brings out his passport. I don't know if you can see it there. Charlie has a Scouse. He has a Liverpudlian passport. Okay, so again, it's making the puppet as real as possible. If you go through, and the information there with his photo and his signed, and it has information about Charlie as well, what he likes doing, jumping and climbing trees, playing with things. It's all. This is, and it's all filled in. His birthday, his hair color, distinguishing marks. He's very furry. And then it's all signed by Charlie. Students got fantastic, they're very, very upset. And I hand this out, and students read this, and then they go, oh, they know when his birthday is. I think his birthday is the 15th of March. So maybe the day before, I go, do you know what day it is tomorrow? I go, it's Charlie. And I go, oh, it's Charlie's birthday. And so what we might do is then design a birthday card for Charlie. Charlie comes in, he's got a hat on, and we all sing happy birthday. Cool, I'm going to run out of time. So, yeah, and for project work, so we design lots of things to do with the monkey. So I say to the students, where's he from? I go, Liverpool. Do you think he's tried Spanish food? No. So what food do you think he'd like? And then we design a poster with Spanish food, or we might even have with recipes. Well, so I go, what do you think Charlie should taste? And they go, tortilla. I go, okay, so how do you make tortilla? And they go, you need potatoes, eggs, oil, etc. Or paella. I go, okay, so what are the ingredients? Rice, chicken. So again, I'm sort of going over quite simple vocabulary, and they're doing something that they see as real world, which is helping Charlie integrate into society. The same with clothes. When it gets really hot, I go, oh, Charlie's come from Liverpool, he doesn't have the right clothes. And then again, we do another project, maybe it's a poster, and we've got like shorts and t-shirts and whatever. So we're recycling clothes vocabulary, but it's quite focused, and because students they really like helping people, and especially the monkey. So it's all the time I'm saying about help. I never ask for a volunteer in class. I always ask for somebody I said, can somebody help me? And that's this. If I ask for a volunteer, then I was like, even the little ones are, well, for help, they like helping. So very often it's things to help Manu or Charlie. Okay, I think I'm going to run out of time there. Any final questions?
You do have one more question that's just come in. Do you have a training course, John? Now, I think I know the answer to this because I think I saw something yesterday you posted.
Yeah, I do. I've got, it's going to be on my, well, I've got two things. I've got one on my website now, and by next week, it'll be, hopefully it'll be finished. I've been trying to put all the video clips I've got together, and it'll be on my website. At the minute, it's I'm charging €5 just to cover I'm going out of focus again. And that's just to cover the cost of hosting the site. So there's going to be probably about like 10 hours of stuff there. And not only it'll be all what we've talked about today, more ideas, how to build up the backstory, and ideas on crafts, which unfortunately we didn't have time to get into today. Anyway, I
And
think
just one last thing, Carol Reid has put up the name of the book, and it's called Teach with Bear by Mary Slattery.
Yeah. Thanks, Carol.
Thanks, Carol, for that.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're out of time now because there's another session I'm going to come in and use this room. But thank you, John, for an absolutely brilliant session. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, guys. Well, I hope you found it useful.
And the only other thing to say is you will automatically get a certificate. And please, we now have a 15-minute break. And you could use that time to go and visit the publishers. So thank you, John, once again, and thank you for everybody that's participated. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Can I just
Bye.
join? Can I thank you very much, John? Can I just butt in and just to remind people that it is the opening plenary at 12 o'clock. It's Anne O'Keefe. Okay. I know it's difficult to sit in front of a screen for so long, but I think the plenary session it should be well worth it. Okay, thanks again, John. Bye.
Welcome.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And
And don't forget the publishers.